welcome to another episode of Monster Talks. My name is Raul Mendoza, and today's guest is a vocalist, an Army veteran. She is the executive president of the Great Khalid Foundation. She is the mother of the Grammy-nominated artist Khalid, Mrs. Linda Wolfe. How you doing, Linda?
I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. Really excited to have you here to talk about the foundation today and all the cool things that you guys are putting together. Tell me a little bit about the foundation and how you started.
Okay, so the foundation has been active since 2019. It was right after Khalid blew up with Location and the first American Teen album. You know, he and his team said it's time to give back, so it's time to give back. So,
is this your first nonprofit that you've ran?
First and only. I didn't think that I was going to run a foundation. I was just retired from the military. I just wanted to be a retiree, you know, lay down at some beach and just chill out. But when duty calls,
it's really exciting that, you know, seeing these types of foundations pop up in El Paso. Myself, I aspire to do that. I think one of the things looking at your interviews that impressed me a lot, or that I was able to relate a lot to, was that your goal or the reasoning behind this is to inspire the next generation, right? What have you learned most through this experience?
You never know what will impact a young mind. I think that's what is so special to me, is because I could see it. I can see where, you know, they get excited about, you know, what we're saying, or when they see Khalid come and give all these toys out to these elementary school kids. That's something they want to do. If not be a performer or entertainer, be someone that works at a foundation. Doesn't have to be a foundation like, you know, ours, but something to give back to, see that that's a normal thing.
What are some of the challenges in creating a foundation?
How long you got? I mean, there's a lot of challenges because Khalid is a superstar. People feel like, a lot of people who we've asked for grants, or even the community, they feel like, oh no, he's rich. It doesn't work like that. You know, it's not a family foundation. It is a public foundation, which is, we get our funding from you. We get our funding from grants. We get our funding from government, the city, and that's how we get our funding. In order for us to give back, people need to give to us. And when we first started, I was just giving. And giving and giving and giving and giving. Who wants this? And who wants this? There was so much need out there, and I just got like kind of crazy giving and giving and giving. But I had to kind of slow down, because I can't give without it being reciprocated. Because our backpacks are packed with everything. We get a list of what is needed in the school, and we pack that backpack to the hill. And we worked with Walmart to get the sturdy backpack, so this will last you, you know, your whole middle school year. Mm-hmm. You know, and you don't have to ask for a pencil. You don't have to be embarrassed. You don't have to be singled out. So that's our intention with sixth graders, because you're going into middle school. You're leaving elementary and you're going into middle school. Yeah,
it's very tough time for kids.
It's a very tough time.
And probably, I think middle school is more challenging than high school, because it's rough.
I think so. You know, I had two kids that went through it. So me as a mother, you know, understands how difficult sometimes it is for that change. Yeah,
I think it's right. And as an evolution as a parent, we're also going through changes, because our income's increasing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when I had my kids early on, we struggled. They were at daycare. They did all that thing, right? But as you age over time, you're a little bit more established and you got stuff. But that's probably a challenging time during that
challenging time.
sixth grade time, the kids are trying to get to know who they are. They're trying to fit in with all the crowd. Middle school
They
is
don't know
rough.
how
The
to
kids
be.
are mean.
Yeah, kids
Yeah.
are mean. Kids are mean, and
Yeah.
that's the truth of the matter of it. And when kids are going into school, they feel like this is their world. We
Yeah.
don't live in their world. We
Yeah.
don't have the societal problems that the kids create within their sphere,
Yeah.
of the world.
What's been one of the triumphs or one of the things that you're most proud of with the foundation that you guys have done?
I'm proud of a lot, but I love the fact that we're able to get our performing arts scholarships out there. I think they're the most impactful because there's not a lot of performing arts scholarships to the tune of $10,000.
Absolutely.
You have your football, your soccer, and all that, but our creatives are kind of left to the side.
True.
$1,000 here. We wanted to have a number that would alleviate some of the burden off of the parents and off of the student when they got there. And we pay the school directly. We've had ballerinas, we've had theater, we've picked dancers, we've picked singers. So all of that in the creative world, if you're going to go out for the Great Khalid Performing Arts Scholarships, you got to come correct because it's a national scholarship. You're competing with the nation. And we've had people go to Berkeley. We had people go to Juilliard, So we get some of these scholarships, you just get a white wall and somebody singing, and I'm like, if you want this, you have to put time and effort. And when I'm viewing these, because I'm a singer, because I'm a performer, I can see how much time and effort you put into this.
Yeah.
So it only takes me maybe not even 30 seconds to see if I'm going to put a check on here to come back to it or just pass it.
True. Wow. How can somebody apply for something like that? Is it through the website?
It's through the website, thegreatkhalidfoundation.org. All of our programs are through there. Everything that we've done is on our website. And there's an application time period. We'll tell you 3 months prior. You have 3 months to do this. 3 months to get it together. And once that application ends, it ends, and then we're left with the people that have took time to go ahead and do it. And you have to be a senior, and you have to be going to a performing arts school. That's what you have to major in. Like, don't say I can sing, but I'm going to be a journalist. Like, I don't.
Yeah. It has to align. It has to make sense.
It has to make sense. And we pay the school. We don't pay the student. We pay the school. And then once your money is in, you can use it for whatever you want to use it in your school.
I know you and I briefly touched base on community involvement. How important is it for the community to be involved in these types of organizations?
It's everything, because without the people, we don't have the organizations.
Yeah.
Without the people, there's no nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I feel like it comes so natural to me because I'm an Army brat. My father was in the military. My father was a first sergeant. I spent 24 years in the military, so that's all I know is service. So the transition for me was easy to retire and then still give back to the community, because that's just in my soul. It's in my child's soul. So, and I know that there's so many people out there that are itching to give back, and it doesn't have to be so plentiful. People feel like if I make a donation, it has to be this. No, it could be $5. It's what you can afford. There's not a standard amount that is acceptable, because that $5 adds up.
Absolutely.
It adds up.
And people can go to the website to do this, right?
People can go to thegreatkhalidfoundation.org, and there's a place where you can donate, and they can donate to the cause.
That's awesome. So definitely you guys go out, give back to the community. If you're looking for a way to give back, like Linda's explaining, you don't have to do it in hundreds of thousands of dollars. Give what you can. This is how we help move programs like this forward and give opportunities to other things like arts, guys. Arts, I think, and you guys hear us on this podcast talk about this all the time. There's other things, other than being a doctor, other than being a lawyer, we want to support the arts. And I think this is a great opportunity for local people to take advantage of. If they are very serious about what they want to do, this is a great opportunity for them to take advantage of that. Why is it important for people to use their voice? You've used your voice your whole life. Why is it so important for people to use their voice?
Using your voice is all about being a human. When your voice is suppressed, you don't feel like you're whole, right? When I was younger and I was in a situation where in my childhood it wasn't good, just to be quite honest. I didn't wake up like this. Came from rough beginnings as far as how people treated me. So I didn't use my voice for a long time. And it's crazy when you discover that you have a voice, when you discover that you can sing, or that's how I calmed myself as a child, just singing songs, getting lost in lyrics, getting lost in, books. So with that, I use that creativity to calm me, to exist in the world that I was living in at the time. Vocally, the military helped me use my audible voice to stand up for yourself, to speak your truth, to do, to say what you need to say, and leave it at that. I think I've grown as a human. As I'm 50 years old, and I used to look at 50-year-olds when I was younger, and I was like, well, why do they have so much confidence? Like, where does that come from? Like, you know what I'm saying? And now I know it comes from the experiences that you have and what you've gone through all these years to get to where you are, right? So using your voice is very important. Being suppressed is not being to your full potential. And people have to I use music. I use my voice. I use being creative to make it in this world, to be expressive just with the lyrics, because I write too. So with the lyrics that I write, what I sing, help me through all of that. There's different ways of using your creativity. You just have to find it within yourself.
Absolutely. Song and music is life. Frequencies, melodies, right? We can think back to a time in our life and we can attach it to a song and stuff like that, right? I think music has been a big inspiration. Music is actually the reason why I created this company, and I now have the marketing company. We have 12 employees now. We're continuing to grow the company, and it all started as music. A lot of people don't know that, if I haven't mentioned that on the podcast. But I used to record music. That's what I did. My brother played guitar for the longest time, and I played drums. I started playing drums when I was 9 years old. So for the longest time, music has been a part of my life, and that's what inspired me and set the fire behind everything, that I've created today. It was the need to be creative and to have some type of voice or some type of outlet, right?
I need to say this because people don't really understand the impact music has on individuals, how powerful music is. I I guess I'm a singer. I've sung in Russia. I've sung in Serbia. I've sung in all these other places where they don't speak my language. And I'm singing for these people. They don't know the language, and they're crying.
Yeah.
It feels it's a mode, it's a mood, it's a feeling. It's universal.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen it firsthand where just the tone, you know, just the keys, you know, can bring so much out of a person, and they don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah. It'll just
firsthand
change your mood.
It'll change your mood. It just depends on what it is.
Yeah.
I've sung the anthem hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Because of the emotion that people attach to the anthem. The anthem is the hardest song that you will ever sing as a singer.
Yeah.
It's not long. It is not. It's not something that's hard to remember. You know. But it is. You can get so much emotion out of the anthem. Just the pride that comes with people hear that song.
Yeah.
You know, or the distaste when Roseanne Barr sung it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just the song and the emotion that's attached to that song. Whatever emotion that you put towards it.
Yes.
It's crazy.
You know, they say it's not what you say, but how you say it, right?
How you say it.
Right, and how you deliver. I used to love looking at, I used to follow Dave Pensato. He had a podcast on engineering, and he would bring on a bunch of different artists, producers, engineers, and they talked about, you know, how did Michael Jackson create the song? What was it like being in the studio? And it was just amazing to me to hear how he would throw his voice, how he would turn away from the mic to get certain sound effects. It's just amazing at the detail.
It's art.
Yeah, it's art. It's amazing. So, and then just seeing him, you know, I think I saw the We Are the World documentary on Netflix, right? Yeah. That was so inspiring. And then just seeing Michael Jackson work, you can see he was locked in. He was there earlier. Well, everybody was he didn't go to the Grammys, right? He called off or something like that because he was back in the studio preparing for that night, right?
And that's what people don't understand. You know, when it comes to Khalid, they just think that he just put songs together, and no, there's so much that goes into him being that boss.
Yes. Okay,
he has to be a boss, he has to be a singer, he has to be a producer, he has to be a writer. There's so much that goes when you hear that song that plays on the radio. There's so much effort that had to go through that. You know, my son is a perfectionist like me. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with being one. But that's why it's been 5 years since he's got an album out, which is coming out anyway. But he wants everything that reaches people's ears to have some type of impact. And it's an impact that, of course, varies depending upon the person. But it's hard work. He's not only working on the album, he's working on the tour. He's working on getting the dance moves down to be able to support, you know, singing.
There's so much more than the music.
There's so much more than the music. And it's the reason why he gives excellent shows, because he puts that work in every single day.
What advice can you give to parents of up-and-coming artists or artists that you think is important when developing an artist?
If you see something in your child, you're the one that has to water it. You have to flourish it. You have to start that person, because you'll see it before your child sees it. And I knew, because I was singing, you know, on stage and studio, all that. And I knew that Khalid wanted to sing, or that he has the ability to sing. You know, just because you sing doesn't mean you want to be a rock star, you know. But I saw the talent, and so I put him in choral to develop that talent. Khalid is a baritone. He can sing classically. You might not can tell from his style of singing now, but he is. He's
I wouldn't
classically
think that,
trained.
but
Yeah, he can sing. He's classically trained. So was in theater and chorus all through his scholastic career.
That's crazy that you say that, and it's amazing, that those foundational things are what make people go to the next. But people just see the outcome, right? But they don't see the preparation. But it's all in the preparation. I think that's what you said earlier.
Yes.
That you can tell when somebody is prepared before they go to come to perform in front of you, or to send their video to try to get the scholarship. How important is that in preparation, and is it something that you pushed on to your son over the years?
It's something that he saw, because there's preparation is the key.
Yeah.
With my Juneteenth event that's coming up, I'll be singing maybe a couple of songs, and we've been practicing, we've been rehearsing, and I'm singing in the car, because this is a representation of you and your voice and your gift.
Absolutely.
And I'm giving it to somebody, and I want it to be in the best package that it can be in.
Yes.
Right. So you have to prepare, and me being in the USERA chorus kind of taught me that, making sure that you have the lyrics down, you have the moves down, what mark you have to hit on here, what stage you're going through, and it makes everything just go a lot smoother if you don't have the anxiety of not being prepared.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
if you're not prepared, you don't know what's going to happen. I don't like that.
Absolutely.
When I had a band in the Army, I had a rock band, seven piece, beautiful band, and they couldn't stand me when I first got there, because I prepped them. We're learning 30 songs, because I don't know who's going to request us for any gigs, and I need to be able to support that gig depending upon what it is. If it's picnic songs, if it's a ball, I'm doing Sade, if it's this, that, I need to have a repertoire where we're ready to do whatever. We could just mix, match, whatever. They didn't get it at first, but after they've learned the songs and we were doing the gigs and we were very successful, they understood there was a method to my madness.
Yeah.
Just being prepared to do what you need to do before you get there.
Yeah.
Right? When we got there, you make sure that everything is straight. We've already went through these run-throughs. We're going to do run-throughs from Juneteenth. And I'm bringing that, my military experience, my military vocalist experience, into everything that I do. If I'm going to be on stage, we're going to have a production. This is a show. So we got to go through it, go through everything, so we'll have a warm and fuzzy, so it won't feel like the first time.
Absolutely.
Because that's vulnerable.
Yeah.
I don't like to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, you got to see it before you actually do it.
You got to see it. You got to feel it.
Yeah.
And it has to feel good.
Yeah.
And if you're prepared, that's just you're beating it. You're beating the system.
You mentioned the Juneteenth event. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that event, and so that way the people from El Paso can, understand what the event is about and how people can participate.
Yeah. So the Juneteenth event, we did it our first inaugural Juneteenth event last year, and I might have this percentage off, but we're like 4.6 of the community, the Black African American people. Juneteenth is a federal holiday, and what's amazing is when you ask people what is Juneteenth, they don't know, and some Black people don't know about it either. This is the recognition, 1865, where the slaves found out they were free. In Galveston, Texas, they had 250,000 slaves still enslaved, right? after the war was done, after, you know, so it took a Union general to go on to Galveston to say, y'all gotta let these people go, or you gotta pay them a wage, right? And it's that day, that is June 19th, is when that happened.
Oh, gotcha.
So because of the lack of, you know, African Americans in El Paso, we understood that there was a need for education.
Yes.
On this. And we wanted to do something other than a picnic or just a gathering that only Black people would be in attendance. Because we're a community in El Paso, we wanted to invite everybody. Everybody needs to learn, right?
Yes.
So it's basically coming together as a community, and we broaden it out to the culture.
Yes.
African American culture. African American culture affects everybody. It bleeds onto everybody's culture, with the music that we, you know, we invent, with the foods, with just the sayings. And so we wanted to focus on Juneteenth, but still have some of the culture that introduce some African American culture to the El Paso community. So we're going to have a step show there. We're going to have spoken word there. We're going to have jazz playing. We have the Billy Towns band. We have we're going to have all kinds of the food, chicken and waffles, and you know, African American inspired foods there. So everything, although, you know, we're trying to educate, it's still, we're not pushing it in your face. It's a gala, so you're gonna have to dress up. It's not black tie, but wear something, you know, you can't get in there with jeans.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have, you know, no, wear something that's nice and calm, because it's 6 o'clock. We have our jazz reception. It's for our VIP $250 ticket. But what you get with that ticket is, it's just going to be amazing. And then $150 for general admission. But it is going to be a red carpet type situation.
That's
and
awesome.
if you look at the Juneteenth event of last year and see the pictures of what happened in that room, we are elevating it this year.
Nice.
It's just going to be a nice evening full of dance, food, and entertainment. And we have the Swell Kids coming as our DJs. You know, I fell in love with the Swell Kids when they did the benefit that Khalid came and did for the survivors of the Walmart shooting. And they opened up for Khalid, and ever since I've been attached to the hip. Every time I have a event, I check their schedules first. And they showed out last year. Visually, you wouldn't think, you know, they just look like, you know, rock and roll kids, but they're not kids, first of all, and they know the assignment. And they get the assignment done. We had people taking their shoes off, and these are executives, you understand? Letting their hair down, and did not want to leave last year.
That's awesome. So what day did you said it's going to be?
It's going to be June 8th.
June 8th.
June 8th. We did that because you know, we would have to compete with a lot of other Juneteenth events the next week. A lot of people were going out of town. So we just wanted to go ahead and get it done so we could go to these other events if we wanted to also.
June 8th. And what
it's going to
venue?
be at the Plaza Theater.
At the Plaza Theater.
Plaza Theater. People need to buy their tickets. It's going to be, and you can buy your ticket the day of, but we, you know, We really want you to
The
buy
sooner
your ticket
better.
now.
Yeah. And they can get them at the website, the Great Khalid Foundation.org.
They can go to the website. It's in my bio, on my website, or they can go to social media posts, our social media page, which is our Instagram, our Facebook, and on one of those, Facebook, on one of those things, there's a link, is universal. Or we're partnering with the YWCA for this, like we did last year, and it's just two great organizations coming together. YWCA, their motto was eliminating racism, and taking care of, young mothers and kids and stuff like that. And I felt like my foundation and their foundation, really, works well together. Sarika is the CEO. Sarika Ruffin is the CEO of the YWCA, and we're coming together to make this happen. And everything, all the proceeds go back to the community.
Yes, definitely. I think this is a great venue for a great cause.
Yes.
Also, Linda, a lot of Hispanics have roots from Africa.
Yes. I feel like everybody has roots from
We do.
Africa if you really want to get into it.
Yes, we do. I myself recently, I did the ancestry, and I was able to trace roots 10% back to Africa.
Yeah,
so
it's the motherland. That's
yeah,
why they
so-
call it the motherland.
Yeah,
And I just feel like there's a lot of things that people don't know, that they feel like asking an African American will, offend us, and what we're doing is that we're inviting you to the cookout.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In that way, and educating, like I said, but not throwing it down your face. It's an opportunity to dress nice and have food and drinks and get a whole show, and then party with the swell kids. That right there, just saying it, I can't believe I'm a part of this. It's going to be a wonderful experience, and an experience that's unique to El Paso. And my thing is this: I'm not from here. I've been here for like 8 years, so I feel like I'm a citizen of El Paso. But I want to bring stuff to El Paso that has never been done, and this is one of the things. It's never been a gala other than what we did last year for Juneteenth, where people can, have, majority of the benefits that you go to. It's a place, and you sit down in a table and you eat, and then someone says something, and this is not that type of party. It is.
We can expect a lot of music.
It's different. It's a lot of music. It's a lot of entertainment. We got an
great.
African dancer that's dancing. I said we have 2 spoken word, and people. There's a lot of things that you'll learn about the Plaza Theater that you probably don't know. So we're bringing history out.
It's awesome.
And it's going to be a cultural celebration.
Awesome. We invite everybody to go get your tickets.
Get your tickets.
Get your tickets. It's going to be a great event. And we'll be posting some more stuff along with this podcast to help to support that. And we'll be putting the links below and everything. And we here at Monster Link as well will be making a donation as well to the event and stuff. So
ooh, that's very great to hear.
So I love the subject of music, Linda. And I know this is going to be a hard thing to answer, but who are your top 3 overall ever?
Whitney Houston is one. Prince is another. And Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I mean
that's a hard list because there's
it's
so
a
many
very
great
hard
ones.
list, especially from a vocalist. Just the purity of Whitney's voice, her early voice, that took me out of a lot of dark places.
Yeah.
Just that sound. And when you're a singer, you mock. That's how you learn how to sing, is you imitate. So Whitney has gotten me out of a lot of emotional turmoil. Prince the fact that he could play every instrument, and there was no, I don't even feel that there was even a plateau to his talent. Like, it just wasn't.
He was still creating.
Michael Jackson, listen, I don't even have to say anything about that. It's just pure talent. It's pure the gifts that we have, that he left on this earth for us to listen to. You know, it's just crazy.
It's an amazing list.
It's amazing.
You also had mentioned Sade.
Sade.
She's one of the greatest, right?
Sade is
she
really,
ever coming back?
Sade, she's never left. She's still.
Will she
might
perform
not.
again?
She performs in London and all that. Sade is unique because as a singer, we use vibrato a lot. Sade uses any vibrato. Right. It's hard to sing her songs because you can't put that, that color in it, and it's just so straight. And she looks the same as she did 20 years ago. Sade has, those things. I would gravitate to Sade if I was doing a ball, because it's that music that it just floats through the room.
Yeah.
You can still have conversation, you can still converse with your people, but you're gonna hear that music float through that room, that jazz, that tone, that vibe that Sade has. No one has. And I think that's the difference between a lot of people and artists. Like, a lot of people sound just alike.
Yeah.
Right? Those three people that I said is the top, they have distinct differences in how they are. Khalid has a distinct difference in who he is as an artist. He has his own sound. You might have people who sound like him or them, but they can't replicate.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what makes you a pure talent artist.
Yes.
Sade is one of those people where you have to work to sound like her.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope, I got to look that up to see if she's actually performing in London, because definitely it's on my list of artists that I would love to go see.
Sade. I would love to go see her.
Yeah, definitely. Can you tell us, like, the first time, or at what age did you see that spark in your son? Did you see that spark in Khalid that you said, there can be something here?
I would say 3 or 4.
Wow.
Very early. I was a single parent. It was just me and my dog, me and Khalid. And being a single parent, being in the military, I would have to go on long trips to take him down to my father, for them to watch while I went to the field or if I going somewhere. So these long drives, he would be in the back seat, and I would have, like, I used to love Pink, and I still love her. And we would be just singing the whole album. And I look back, he's either singing the harmony or he's singing this and that with me, and that's when I found out. So when Khalid did a couple of songs with Pink, he told her the story, and I was able to meet her before one of her shows, and just going backstage with her and her family. And when I say that sometimes you don't need to meet, the people that you admire, but sometimes it is a great thing to do that.
Yeah.
Because Pink is who she is, who I thought she was.
Really?
And she brings it up. She says, Khalid told me that, when he was 3 or 4, it kind of made me feel old. So we made that a joke, but that's when I kind of knew that he had that talent. I was singing with, when Khalid was in my belly, I was in the studio singing. So it's something that he was born with. His normancy, his normal life was seeing me on stage, was seeing me go to this show, this sound check here, or Mommy has to go on spring tour, Mommy has to do this, So every show that we can bring them to, we brought them to. So that was just He was immersed in music.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't singing, I was playing Michael. I was playing Prince. I was playing Shaka. I was playing all these things in the house.
Yeah.
I was playing classical. I was playing, depending upon what I had to learn for whatever show it was. So he was immersed with every type of music. That's why he likes Tracy Chapman. That's why he likes, all types of music.
Yeah.
And I feel like that encompasses his style because that's what he was raised.
Yeah, that was a question I was going to ask. That what role did music play in your family and the upbringing in your childhood and in Khalid's childhood?
Yeah, that's what it was. And I remember being in the school bathroom with my little 4-part harmony group and causing craziness because people are listening to this group just sing. And that was when In Vogue, and that was when SWV and all Jade was out. So
Yes.
and doing talent shows, and then trying to form a group, getting a production company, getting a manager, and having us do clubs and all of that before I got into the military. And then still, when I was in the military, I would use my weekends to go to Atlanta, to go to the studio, so music has always been a part. And it just worked out for me because I was able to audition for the Yusra Band and Chorus. And the second year that I was there, they had a new MOS, which is a vocalist MOS, and I was one of the first vocalists in the Army. I made my audition and allowed me to sing for the remainder of my career. So I was a lucky one. God puts you where you need to be.
Absolutely.
And I felt like, he was opening doors for me all the way, and, leaving a trail for people to access.
Yes, I believe in that trail. Like every time something happens to me that's key, or somebody tells me something, it's like, wow, that it kind of spooks me because it's almost like I've heard it before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it's that symbol, like I'm letting you know something.
You gotta listen to it.
Yeah.
You definitely gotta listen to it because there's a lot of things that I did not know was possible. A vocalist did not, when I came in at 94, there were no vocalists other than the Washington. They had the special bands, but a vocalist in each band in the Army, no, they didn't have that. I started that, and that's something that I'm very, very proud of because it lives on without me. It's growing without me. I was the first non-commissioned officer. I was the first senior NCO vocalist that they've had in the Army. And when I say that, it's crazy because it's like, did I do that? Yeah. But I'm glad that I opened that door for the creatives in the military because there's so many of us that have that gift. And what my job was, I just fronted the band. I had my own band, but I can sing in front of an orchestra.
Yeah.
I can sing in front of an Army band, and I would do things with them, and then I would take my band and we would do things with the community, so that community understood that the Army is not that bad. This is a great job to have.
And were you in charge of coming up with all the content and like what songs you're going to be putting on? And
because I was the senior non-commissioned officer, it was my band. So it was called MPT. So I was the MPT leader. I was responsible for all of it, the repertoire that we sung, and how we sung, the rehearsals, just creating that show and then taking it out and making sure that show was executed.
That's so awesome that you had that opportunity. I'm sure you had the opportunity to travel and inspire a lot of people through music.
I'm well traveled.
Yeah.
I'm well traveled.
So were there any signs, or I know you had talked about like at 3 years old was when you noticed that Khalid had talent. At what age were you like, okay, this is going to be something more than just talent. It's going to be...
I would say this. Khalid had a desire to be a music teacher. So anything that he would have done would have been around music. We did not know.
Was it clear from middle school, from high school, that's what he wanted to do?
It was, that's what he desired to be, a music teacher. He wanted to be a choral teacher.
Wow.
And it was when I was in New York, and it's cold. We was in North Country. They call it North Country for a reason, because it snows until May. And we were looking for places. We had options to go here, there. They give you options. This is where you can go to this band, you can go to this band. But since I was married at the time, we had to come together as MOSs. My husband is not a bandsman. He was a first sergeant, 92 logistic first sergeant, right? So we had to come up with a place where we can both serve this, a duty station. And because I was so cold and I got tired of shoveling snow, 3, 4, 5 feet, I wanted to find some place that was warm and hot. So Fort Bliss was one of my selections.
Really?
And I looked up the weather and I said, in October it's 70 degrees? That's where I want to go. That's where I want to go. I did not know that it was hell here.
Really? Is that how you chose to come to El Paso?
That's how I chose it. I chose for the climate. I was tired of being cold.
Really?
And no sun. Like when I lived in housing on post, and once the snow starts, you start building a little mound. By the end of snow season, it's up here. You can't see your neighbors.
Wow.
I ran my first PT test in 12-degree weather.
Wow.
I'm running outside in 12-degree weather.
Man.
It was, to me, it was just, people didn't go outside. They stayed inside. You didn't see people. There was no sun. So we were deficient, and I looked to see the weather and I saw, it's beautiful weather in December, is it? Because once it gets over 36 degrees, for us, that's warm. 40 degrees is warm for us. 50 degrees is, you're wearing t-shirts in 50 degrees. They have tank tops at 50 degrees in North Country. And then when I came over here, y'all got Uggs on. And I'm like, what? Why y'all so cold? This is not cold. I was like, that was the reason why we're here. That was the reason why y'all got Khalid, because Khalid did not want to come he wanted to stay. It was his senior year. And I had to be selfish. I was like, I'm not going to see you after you're going to college after this.
Yeah.
So you're going with us. And because El Paso was on the other side of the world and New York is on the other side of the world, I can't get to you if something happens to you.
Wow.
I can't get to you in a timely manner when something happens to you. I'm responsible for you. Although you had grown people saying, I'll take care of him.
Yeah.
Just let him stay here with his friends. And I said, no, and he was mad for a little bit until he got here and got friends. His best friend now is the same best friend that came up to him and said, hey, you look cool. And they became friends, and he tours with him now,
Wow.
So
it was his senior year that he came to El Paso.
He came to El Paso his senior year. And the reason why, let me get this out here, because they're like, he's not from El Paso, but he claims El Paso. He's a brat. He's an Army brat. We've never bought a house anywhere we've been. We leave every 3 or 4 years. He's used to that. He's used to just leaving the community, because of me, because of, where I was needed in the Army is where we have to be, and you have to come with me because you're my baby, you know?
Yeah.
And when we got here, we had both decided that we were going to retire here, you know? So we bought a house, you know, we put the roots down.
Yeah.
And because his gift was awakened here, really, you know, kind of sparked off of, okay, I might want to be a singer, you know, that was here.
Yeah.
So in Khalid's mind, that gift was born in 915.
Yeah.
It was here. So he's never said he's a native. Never. Y'all say that. Y'all say that podcast. Y'all have said he's a native. He's never said that he was a native here. He represents it because he loves the people of El Paso and how they embraced him as a senior.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can go somewhere and come back home.
Yeah.
He's never had that.
Yeah.
You know, so just for you to understand the reason why Khalid calls his home, because in his heart, El Paso's his home.
Yeah.
He's put 915 on the map.
Mm-hmm.
He's put 915 in his videos. He's said it in award shows.
Absolutely.
He's giving it cred. He don't have to do that.
Yeah.
He does it because he loves this place. He feels like it's a unique place. He feels like it's home because mama's here.
Yeah.
You know, but the fact that, he's not, why is he claiming El Paso? Let him claim it.
Yeah.
If that's how he feels in his heart, let him claim it.
Yeah.
And it's been a benefit to El Paso because he claims it.
Absolutely.
You know?
That was one of my questions, is how he developed that strong bond. But I get it now. I understand now what you're saying is you guys moved every year. You decided you're going to retire.
Every 3 years or so, we've moved. He's had to leave friends. He's had to leave schools. He's had to leave, environments. Well, when we came here, we said, okay, we're gonna retire here. We're gonna stick it out, and that's home.
Yeah.
And in his brain, and in even in my other child's brain, that's never happened. She talks like y'all.
Yeah.
She talks like an El Pasoan. Like, you talk just like, because it's the culture.
Yeah.
She's been here 8 years.
Yeah.
So it's G's home,
Yeah.
And that's the reason why. And I usually don't look at comments because people have an intention just to be seen.
Yeah.
And be for Khalid to clap back or me to clap back. So I usually don't look at it, because sometimes it's just ignorance and sometimes it's just miseducation. Like, you don't know why this happens. But somebody said that, and I think it was on a big platform. So I had to respond to it. And I just told him, I said, you know what? Be happy that he claims. He doesn't have to do that. He could claim where he was born. Yeah. He can claim Germany. Yeah. He was there for 4 years. He was there more than he was here. You know, he can claim, South Carolina, where he was born. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I think where you call home Georgia is where home is, where you feel home.
Yeah, he can claim Georgia. He was born in Georgia. So. It's where you feel home, and he feels home in 915. He gave y'all a whole album, Sun City. Yeah. And brought a lot of Latino artists with him. Yeah. So,
I can tell you definitely.
Give him the credit that he's
that
giving people the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm sounding like mom here, but that's my child,
Absolutely.
And I want to defend his efforts because I know his efforts and all the stuff that he does to give back to this community. Yeah. All the stuff that I've done to give back to the community. We've done over $100,000 in scholarships, over $150,000 in scholarships. Yeah. Given how many school toys, whole schools. backpack drives, fed the pandemic for 2 years for Thanksgiving, and that's not even in my preview.
Yeah, no, I can tell you, Linda, that is a small percentage of El Paso of people that say that kind of stuff, but majority of people that I talk to, I know everybody here at the office was really excited to have you on. We feel very strongly that we appreciate everything that he's done. And also, you know, like you said, that he's represented in everywhere he's gone.
Yeah.
He's made it very clear that El Paso is home. So
Yeah.
that's big. And that's big for us because we don't have a lot of those kind of inspirations or those kind of leaders for our community, and we need that so that people can believe in something.
Don't push it away.
Yeah.
It's a good thing for El Paso.
Absolutely.
You know, people are
Absolutely.
going to feel the way they want to feel.
Yeah.
And I just want to give you context
Absolutely.
to how that's the reason why he claims El Paso, because it's home to him.
Yeah, no, definitely. He was discovered here in El Paso, right? I know a good friend of mine, Stephen, and shout out Stephen for, he was in the studio at Beacon Hill
Yeah.
during those early recordings.
Yeah, a location.
Yeah, he was an assistant there helping out on the project and everything. And he had told me about the project. Hey, we're working on some artists that, you know, that is potentially going to be signed and stuff like that. But back to those early days as a mom, what was that like, seeing those early recordings? And when you first heard Location, what was your initial reaction?
Well, initially, Location started in Atlanta. And the fact that I had to let him go to Atlanta, and the only reason why I let him go is because he let me hear Saved. Saved was the first song that he's written that I've heard. And when I heard that song, I said, okay, yeah, this has potential. Do I let him go and miss days almost to graduation? Are you did you talk to your teachers? Are you gonna be able to make this up? It's about to be, you know, this is first, this is priority. The only reason why I let him go to Atlanta is because my brother lives there. And the thing was, okay, you're gonna be staying with your uncle. And it was hard for me to let him go, but I saw that potential in him with just that first song. Location wasn't even done yet. And when he came back, and he was doing a lot of SoundCloud, and I think, well, I know that's how he popped off, because people heard him on SoundCloud, and he was getting a big old following from there. And then Kylie Jenner, thank you, Kylie, kind of helped him out with her playing Location, where she was at, and made people interested in, who is this guy that sounds Irish? Like, who is this kid? Like, I haven't heard anything like this before. And now, you know, and it's a black guy with big hair. So he just had everything going for him, and the planets aligned. It was hard for me when he got signed to RCA. First of all, it was a bidding war. All these people wanted him. And RCA was the record company that basically gave him everything that he needed, that he asked for. And right after graduation, a couple of months after, he was gone. Wow. He was going to LA, and I had to trust his manager and the team is taking my 17, 18-year-old kid to LA to make American team. You know, so I had to go, and I had to see where he was staying. I had to make sure that he had, you know, doing all the mother things. And
that's wild, 17, 18.
Yeah, you know, you don't let your child go at that age. Like, you mentally, you're still a kid.
Absolutely.
So his manager, Courtney, I told him, I said, you know, I'm combat trained.
Yeah.
You know, mess with my kid if you want to.
Yeah.
You need to take care of him. And he assured me that he would. And I trusted him. And, you know, basically I had to let him go. I had to it was very hard for me going to El Paso airport when he was going, to LA for the first time, and seeing him walk up the stairs, and I had to let him go. And it was challenging as a mother to put your child in somebody else's hands because you believe in his dream.
Yeah.
And at that time, I believed in his dream. I believed that he could be whatever he wanted to be. You know, he came here a senior and was prom king.
Wow.
And he wasn't even, you know, he pissed some people off. You know, like,
wow.
You're not even in the community. Like, you know, how you a stranger gonna be prom king? But that's my son.
Wow.
That's my son. That's who he was. I had no problem with him having the courage to be in whatever environment that he's in, because that's just his personality.
Wow. How do you balance that, like supporting your child going after his dreams and making sure that he has some type of backup or education? Like how were you, because I'm sure that senior year was there was a lot going on. He's prom king. He's got an album that is catching some songs that are catching some steam.
When I realized that college was not in the cards is when American Teen popped off. And just to travel, I mean, I did the tour dates with him. I did the press dates with him, and getting up early, getting on all these shows, and I'm in the background. He's talking to this person, Ellen, and all these other people, and then doing it, how hard he had to work to do it, and that he wasn't just that fly-by-night artist when his second album came out, and that was a success, you know. So it was something that we said, if it don't work out, you know, you can always be a teacher. but it you know, he's making it. Like he's doing it. He's been doing it since he was 17, 18 years old. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's just an amazing journey. And I try to put myself in that shoes. Like you're taking him to the airport. He's 17, 18. Don't know what's, you know, the future holds.
You don't. I think the solace was, I'm here.
Yeah.
You can always come back home.
Yeah.
If it gets too much, if it gets too bad, you need me to come get you, we're here. So I think that was my comfort. I know where my baby was. I can pull up.
What are the things that you're most proud about being a mother and seeing Khalid's, his journey?
Seeing everybody else's reaction, going to a concert, and I'm looking at everybody else looking at him, and to see the broad spectrum of his fans. It's just not one age, one color, one gender. I'm looking, you know, sometimes they'll have us in, you know, up top, but sometimes I'm in, you know, no one who knows who I am. And I'll be just looking at people just jamming. And there was this, I think she probably was 35, but she was just jamming on one of the songs in a concert. And I'm just looking at how she is just into this, and she's feeling it. And that's what's special to me. And I was able to, before my father died, I was able to take him to a Khalid concert because of their relationship. Him and his grandfather were like this. And the reason why he likes cars the way he likes is because every time my father would take him to the store, he would buy him like a little box car. Mm. And I got to take my father to a Khalid concert, and I'm looking at my father look at my son, and I think that was the best because he was just looking at everybody else like, I can't believe that this is my grandchild is, and this is full, and people are screaming, and people are crying, and people are proposing to, and my grandson is doing this, and I was like, yeah, I felt the same way, Daddy.
Yeah.
I felt the same way. The fact that I got to give that gift to my father was just amazing to me. But yeah, that's what it is. I love how you all react to his art, to the process. That's what makes me proud. And the fact that, I'm looking at y'all, I don't even know that Khalid's mom is just right here looking at you, looking at him, But yeah.
Was this something that you could have, like growing up, you would have imagined would ever happen in your life?
No, of course. Who does that? And to answer your question, I was proud when I became a fan. I'm mom.
Yeah.
But I'm a singer first.
Yeah.
Right?
I could imagine, since you have that singer back, or that
Right.
history there, that you're probably
Yeah.
always giving them tips, and you're always
or techniques on how to do whatever. But when he started to impress me, because I'm very critical of singers, when he started to impress me is when I'm like, this man is good. Like, this is good. Like, I really like this song. And me just like, this is I really like this song. Yeah. And for me to say that to any artist, because I'm very particular, and I can put my son in that category of artists that I appreciate as a mom.
Yeah.
How proud can you get?
Absolutely.
In that?
I can imagine. What was Khalid like as a child?
No, child. Like any other boy, any other teenager trying to find themselves, mischief, because he was raised in a home where we were very expressive, because the home that I was raised in, I couldn't be expressive, and we didn't say I love you a lot. I could count the times. My father was different. He was always gone, but my stepmom and I have always had something going on. And I wanted to make sure that he was in an environment that he was comfortable in, even if it was uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
So he was a teenager. He got in trouble. His mouth was slick sometimes, but he was very respectful. And I had good kids. Like, they knew how to act in public. But I let him be expressive. I said I love you, so it wasn't foreign to him.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything that was something wrong. You about to die? What's going on? No, it was something that we said every day, and it's something that we continue to say. Like, if I don't hear from him, if he don't hear from me in a while, we just send I love you texts. Love you, Mom. I'm thinking of you. That right there, gives me my energy, because I know that I know he's busy. I know that I have to share him with the entire world. And sometimes that's hard on the mom, but just getting that, I'm thinking about you, text from him is everything to me.
Are there any moments in his career that you're particularly proud of? I know he's been nominated for Grammys.
Mm-hmm. And he should have already won one.
Yes.
But Grammy, what I'm proud of, his reaction to not be picked by a certain select of people. What he's learned early in his career is that his fans make up who he is. It validates him as an artist. You can't put 4 people in a room that don't even kind of know your work and tell them to basically plug Grammys, all go on this, talk about the Grammys, go on this, talk about the Grammys, go on this, talk about the Grammys, go on this, talk about the Grammys. And he got it really early that he doesn't put that pressure on himself as far as it's just an opinion of a panel of people that are not particularly into my music, or it's not political for me to win, or there's because we know the music business on the inside and outside, we have another perspective that a lot of people don't. And when he noticed that, hey, if I win, I win. If not, it's about my streams. It's about the people, my fans. It's about who loves me. I know who comes to my concerts. I know I can identify. I know I can connect with these people. It's not about an award, And you have to play political with Grammys. And it's, he's not the only one who said that. A lot of artists now are like, yeah, I want the award because y'all have made it the highest acclaim, but this does not tell you, what my musicianship is supposed to be, or what my worth is as a musician is. He doesn't equate Grammys to that.
Yeah.
And I love that because that's something that he figured out on his own.
Yes.
And because you want him to win. I've been to 2 Grammys. I'm sitting there and, wanting them to say his name because I feel like it'll make him feel, justified in his career. And he's telling me, Mom, it's not all that to me. Like, what's all that is how I move my fans.
Yeah.
And I can see it doesn't take them giving me an award. Look at all these great artists that haven't had Grammys yet because of political reasons.
Yes. Because
they didn't go and volley for the Grammys the whole Grammy season. If you play the game right, I guess you can get one. But what does that say?
Yeah.
Some people have Grammys. They're like, well, how you get that?
Yeah.
If it's based off of talent, if it was based off of talent, my child would already have one.
Yeah.
But thank goodness that he doesn't think like that. He doesn't care. If he gets a Grammy for this next album, then that'll be great. It'll be a great accolade, right? Yeah. It's good to put on your resume. Grammy winning artist instead of Grammy-nominated. But he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
Like, he, of course, will accept it and he would, be happy about it, but it's not. He's had other awards that, that the audience or his fans, make happen. And those awards are more important to him than a panel of people that are not kind of identified in the population.
I think everything he's accomplished already is just amazing in itself. And even the fact that they acknowledged, at least to nominate him, I think is huge. And everything that he's accomplished, like, it's amazing just to see his career from where he started and where he's at now. It's been amazing. Just looking from the outside in, it's amazing to see all his accomplishments. It's not only about that award.
The thing about it is he's a great performer and he can sing live. He's an actual singer. All right. Yeah. He doesn't need auto-tone. He doesn't need AI. He doesn't need none of that. When you go to his concerts, it's better than what's on the album. And that impresses me. And I think that would be the first thing that when I go backstage after the concert, maybe he was in good voice. I'm waiting on him to mess up so that I can throw it in his face. I'm waiting on it.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't happened yet.
From being
to humble him down a little bit.
Being somebody who takes pride in the craft of creating music and songwriting and singing, what do you think about like what AI is now bringing to music, and like all of what a lot of artists are probably going to be using it as a tool to not only write, but you're now having all these songs that are being altered and people's voices being. What is this going to do to this thing that we've loved for so long?
I think it takes away creativity. It takes away in the moment. I think, it being generated is not art.
Mm.
It doesn't take that much effort.
Yeah.
I was talking to Sarika, and we were talking about something, and I was like, when I was very sensitive to writing, I would hear melodies in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would hear it from the wind.
Yes.
I would hear it from different things. I would hear a drum beat here. I would hear horns here. And it became a part of my creativity. It would inspire me to put a melody on it or add to that. That's creativity that comes within you. AI is generated, So I think I feel like most artists, real artists, they want to let their creativity stand on its own.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need the assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Even auto-tune is like, if you're a singer, you're a singer. Why you need all that, 75% of your mic is auto-tune. Like, I can see like a little 10%,
Yeah.
But is that you singing, or is that, So I don't think that it's a good thing for creativity. I think we lose something in the process.
Yeah.
When it's AI.
Yeah, it's definitely going to change the way that people approach it. I think, maybe record execs, they're probably going to be banking on the algorithm to feed them the next hit, right? Because they're always looking like what melodies or what chords move people the most. And
but that's the thing. I think, the execs, they think like execs.
Yeah.
The artist thinks like artists.
Yeah.
And they tune into how the people feel.
Yes.
I think the execs, they look at the numbers. They look at, the sequences. They look at all that other stuff. But there's nothing like being a real artist where you can connect with that person that's on that front row. Or you can, there's an energy that comes with performing. And it's especially when you're on and everybody's on one wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tone. It's a whole vibe, and it's a gift to be able to feel that, to be on stage and just connect with that audience and be on that one wavelength.
Yeah. What? How do you? I'm looking back at some of the stuff that you've said, and I'm trying to take in, how all this happened and how it's impacted you. Just looking back at all of this, what are some of the big takeaways or big things that you've learned through this whole experience? And I know there's been a lot.
There's a lot. I mean, we didn't ask for this life. It kind of like was thrown upon our lap, and we had to really kind of accept it because this is what it was.
Yeah.
All my life I've been either Sergeant Wolfe or Linda Wolfe. I've never been known as Khalid's mom.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest thing, is that it takes away from your identity and what you've done.
Yes.
The trails that you've blazed.
Yes.
I had to get used to it being a back burner because my child is so famous.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of come to terms with this is what it is. He's a success. Of course, they want to talk about that. Of course, it doesn't diminish who I am.
Absolutely.
It doesn't diminish, what I've done or how I contributed to for Khalid to be who he is. He's a grown man now.
Yeah.
But the fact that I don't get to see him like normal moms get to see their kids when he goes on tour, when he goes out of the country, when he goes to Africa, Saudi, Dubai, all these places. I am a mom first.
Yes.
And I worry about him. I worry about the choices that he makes because he's still 26. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that life is happening.
Yes.
Right. For me, it's huge because I have to kind of walk a kind of like a straight line of if I do something, how will it affect how people think about my child? So a lot of my decisions are based on Khalid. A lot of the things that we do with the foundation or what we accept and what we don't accept is based on the reputation of Khalid. Although people would, think what they want to think, I don't want to put fuel on the fire for people to say anything negative about my child.
Yeah.
They're going to do what they want to do. But I am not like a regular mom. I'll never be like a regular mom. And I just had to accept that that's my life.
Yeah, that's really good feedback. And for any parents that are part of their child's upbringing and their career, I think that's some good insight for them on, what it's like. Mm-hmm. Like you said, it kind of overshadows everything you've done in your career because of how famous it is, but it doesn't. You have to know that within you.
You have to know that within you. It doesn't take away the essence of who you are.
Absolutely.
It did not. Khalid did not make me.
Yes.
I made him.
Yes.
And that's what people don't understand. I lived on this earth without my child for 25 years. Yes. So, and with him, 25 more. So, I don't take anything, away from his talent. He has an enormous talent, but I can
imagine those challenges, but definitely that was one of the reasons why a lot of my questions were into your process because you made greatness too. Yeah. You had a lot to do with this and what he's created.
You have to embrace it. It's what it is. It's what your life is. What do you do with it? I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. I can get on a plane right now and go to my child. I can go to a concert here. I can meet people that other people don't meet. I'm put in environments that other people don't see. So, I don't take away from that gift of him being famous and him being who he is and me as a mother supporting him in that journey. I know that it's a unique space. I know that it's something that, like I said, everybody don't have access to. And I am blessed. I bring that in as a blessing for me to be able to share in some of these opportunities and experiences with my child. And people are like, you go to all of it? No, I don't. That is tiresome. I got my own life, got my RV. I want to feel like I'm retired sometimes.
Yes.
And I don't need to be at every show. But the first popping shows, or if he asked me to be at a show, I'm there.
Yeah.
But yeah, concerts are my life now. I go and I support my child, and the environment of the concert, we're like a family. They know when I'm coming into town. I know the security, I know the dancers, I know the musicians. They call me mom, and when I go, I get to hug on all my children's necks, you know, and critique their show. Especially the dancers. You know, if there's a new dancer, you know, mama's looking at you, right? She's gonna tell you if he was off. And no, but it is a family. And when he goes on tour, he goes on the concerts and stuff, he's with his friends, he's with his family. And that makes me feel better because they're all taking care of each other. And I know that when I come in, I slide in, I look at, I tell him how the show was, I hug his neck, I look at him and make sure that, he's good to go. And I do my mom thing, and then I go back to my life. Khalid's life is not my life, but I have the option to call Courtney and say, where is he going to be? What's his next show? I want to be there. And I'm there.
Yeah.
They get me there and pay for my accommodation. So I'm blessed beyond words. But I still maintain who I am as a person.
Yes.
That you can't take anything away from that. You can just add to it.
So when you say you come back to your life, what is your main focus these days? Is it the foundation?
Yeah, it's been the foundation, but it's also being retired. Mm-hmm. We take our RV out.
I was about to ask, do you get those trips to the beach that you were saying
yes,
to sit by the water nowadays?
Yes, we'll go to Galveston or we'll go somewhere with water because I'm a water person.
Oh, yes.
And because sometimes I go to New Mexico and just see the trees and the water. I just love it.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe, different environment. And my peace is at the beach. My husband, he's from Florida, so he's like, whatever. But no, I go. We go and take the RV out and stay 3-4 days, sometimes a week. I'm going in August to both of my parents' burial sites and meeting up with my siblings in Myrtle Beach. To honor our parents. We do that every August, and we just take the RV and go cross country, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to live and have everything in this space that you need, and just go to different environments, with that RV. That's the best thing I've ever done was to get that motorhome.
That's awesome. I look forward myself one day to be able to have that kind of freedom because I'm sure it is good to be able to travel and
it really is.
And to be retired. But thank you for your service. Thank you for coming onto the podcast. I know that we're in at about an hour and a half, so I want to be respectful of your time. And I appreciate you coming and sharing your story. It's an inspiration to hear your story and your upbringing, but also how you inspired your son to become who he became. But also I want to tell our viewers that this weekend, right? This weekend coming up is
Saturday is Juneteenth.
Yes.
If you haven't purchased your tickets, go ahead and get your tickets now. You can either go to YWCA website or my website or my social media platforms or YWCA platforms. And there's a link there, Universe link to get your tickets. Get your tickets now. I am telling you, if you ever, wanted to hear where Khalid got his voice from, you'll hear it Saturday if you buy that ticket.
Awesome. The Great Khalid Foundation.org. Mm-hmm. Go and check them out. Follow them on social media.
Yes.
Follow Linda. She has a lot of really good insight on music, and what she's doing is amazing for our community. So, Linda, thank you again. Thank you for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you. So that's it, guys. We're summing up. That's another episode of Monster Talks. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.